In the deep woods of Maine, far from any town, there stood an old abandoned house known as the House of Shadows. For decades, it had been the source of local legends and whispered tales. People claimed it was cursed. Those who entered were never seen again. This story begins on a cold autumn night. Eric, a popular YouTuber obsessed with paranormal adventures, decided to explore the house with his two friends, Casey and Liam. Eric was convinced that this trip would make for the perfect viral video. The group arrived at midnight. The house looked exactly as the stories described. Rotting wooden walls, shattered windows, and a yard overgrown with weeds. Casey hesitated as they stepped closer. "Are you sure about this?" she asked nervously. Eric grinned. "Relax. We'll be in and out in a couple of hours. If you're too scared, you can stay in the car." Liam, ever the thrill seeker, shrugged. "I'm in. Let's do this." The heavy wooden door creaked loudly as they pushed it open, as if protesting their intrusion. Inside, the air was damp and cold. The walls were covered in dark stains, and in the center of the main hall stood an enormous mirror framed in an intricate ancient design. Eric immediately focused his camera on the mirror. "This must be the infamous mirror everyone talks about," he said excitedly. "People say it can reveal spirits or trap your soul if you look too long." Casey stepped closer, her voice trembling. "Do you think we should touch it?" Liam laughed. "It's just a mirror. What's the worst that could happen?" As Eric reached out to touch the mirror, the surface rippled, and the image within began to change. Instead of their reflections, shadowy figures with twisted faces appeared, staring back at them. Liam, intrigued rather than scared, moved closer to inspect the mirror. "It's probably some kind of trick," he said. "Maybe a two-way mirror." Suddenly, a faint whisper echoed from the corner of the room. The flashlight in Eric's hand flickered and went out, plunging them into darkness. When Eric's flashlight came back on, Liam was gone. "Liam," Eric called, his voice shaking. Only the sound of heavy footsteps came from upstairs. Casey grabbed Eric's arm. "We need to leave. Now." But Eric shook his head. "Not without Liam." The two made their way upstairs, where the air felt colder and heavier. The walls were covered in strange carvings, deep scratches that read, "They are always here." Casey's fear mounted as she whispered, "Eric, please. Let's just go." But Eric was determined to find his friend. "He's here somewhere. We just have to keep looking." At the end of the hallway, they found an open door. Inside was another mirror, smaller but identical to the one downstairs. In its reflection, they saw Liam. He was standing in a dark, empty room, staring back at them. His voice, faint and trembling, came through the air. "Help me, I can't move." Casey ran toward the mirror, her hand reaching out to touch it. "Liam, we're here." The moment her fingers brushed the surface, the mirror began to shake violently. Liam's image vanished, replaced by a towering, faceless shadow that stared back at them. A cold, hollow voice filled the room. "You will join us soon." Eric and Casey bolted downstairs, desperate to escape, but no matter how many times they reached the front door, they found themselves back in the main hall, standing before the massive mirror. The shadows began to emerge from the corners of the room, surrounding them as the whispers grew louder and louder. By morning, their car was found abandoned near the woods. There was no sign of Eric, Casey, or Liam. The only clue left behind was Eric's camera, discovered near the house. On the footage, Eric could be seen staring into the mirror, his voice eerily calm as he whispered, "We've become part of the house. Now, it's your turn." The House of Shadows still stands deep in the woods of Maine. Locals say you can sometimes hear faint laughter and whispers coming from within. Would you dare to step inside and uncover the truth? Or will you, too, become one of its shadows?